Hi guys, let's do it. The love story part 2. Love is sweeter the second time around, like candy. So, after 3 dates, we were texting back and forth, and I remember exactly what I was doing. I was sitting in a couch in my apartment, kids had gone to bed, and I said those 3 words, or texted those 3 words. I love you. Yep, I did it. That was after 3 dates. Probably broke so many golden rules at that point, but that was after 3 dates. I texted her, "I love you," and it just it just felt like it was the right thing to do. It felt like it was the right moment. You cannot you cannot like put a timeline on saying I love you. It's just when it's real and when you feel it's real, you say it. Um, it was just the way I felt at the time, and I still love her today. I still love everything about her today. So 3 days may seem too soon, but to me, it was just perfect timing. I don't think it was perfect time for her. I think she was a little surprised by it. Maybe she'll say that in her video, but for me, I was like, yeah, it's time. The first time we kissed, and the first time, yeah. Well, okay. So and then after that, we went on a date shortly after I popped those 3 words, and we come in at the side door of the restaurant, and I was walking her back to the car like a gentleman I should always do, and I just kissed her. I just kissed her and sat around beside this restaurant. I think she was taken back and she was completely surprised. But hey, I just said the 3 words. I'm gonna kiss you. Simple as that. And that's how that was the first kiss around the side of a restaurant in Orlando. First time we held hands, that was we were coming back from, or we were driving. Yeah, we're driving back from a birthday party to somewhere else. It kind of resembled the other place we were going to, and we were driving in the car, and I just held her hand, and we held hands at. Actually, no. Rewind a little bit. We held hands at the party as well. Yeah, we held hands at the party, and then we held hands when we were driving back. That was the first time we held hands. It was after "I love you" and after the first kiss and all that stuff. Then we held hands. And yeah, she pressured me into going bowling with her absolutely crazy, if I may say it, co-workers. Yeah, I remember that. I'm gonna pause that. Let's redo that one. And on our first date, let's go back to our first date. On our first date, she was talking about going bowling with some co-workers like a few days later. I think it's like a week later or something. So I used it as an opportunity. I was like, you know what, let's go around the corner. I look on Google. I found a bowling place around the corner. I was like, let's go around the corner. Let's go practice bowling. So I kind of extended the date into the bowling place as well. And then also, yeah, we she invited me to go bowling with her co-workers, and that was interesting. And actually, it was one of the green lights for me was one of her co-workers came up to me and said, "Wow, how long have you guys been together?" Like he was saying it like we've been together like a really long time. We'd been together, I don't know, 3 weeks at that point. I think that was before the first "I love you," okay? I didn't even say "I love you" yet. We'd been together 2, 3 weeks, and the guy was like, "How long have you guys been a couple?" And that was my first sign that, hey, if people are seeing that, if people are feeling that energy in the relationship, this must be a good thing that I have to keep going. This must be an amazing relationship I'm getting into here, and it is, and it still is, and it will be forever. I love her so much. And shortly after that, I met her parents and her brothers. Um, that was the most scary, shall we say, experience that a guy could go through, because I dropped my car off. I left my car in Orlando, I think, and we took her car and we took her car into Titusville, where we lived at the time. And so I was going down the road. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to step into this family. I'm not good at dealing with people anyway. I'm about to step into this family. I'm about to meet these strange people, and as a father, I'm gonna also, if someone's marrying my daughter, yeah, I'm gonna severely interrogate that person, shall we say. So I know her mother and father are gonna look at me the same way. Her mother and father are gonna look at me and be worried, shall we say, about what their daughter is doing, because that's just natural protective behavior, shall we say. And then I was meeting these brothers as well, which I'd heard some stories about. So I was driving out there, and I was. This is like going into the lion's den, basically. It's like I didn't know what to expect. I was so nervous, meeting the family, and because you usually, especially in a Western relationship, you don't meet the family very early. You probably meet the family a lot later in a relationship. Whereas in our relationship, I met the family early on. That's actually a good thing, because you have to remember, in relationships, sometimes you're marrying the family as well. You're marrying into the family, and you kind of accept some of their family problems at that point. So if there's nuts in the family, if there's people that are crazy in the family, it's probably a good idea if you know about that while you're dating, rather than just later on. So yeah, that was a scary experience. But she wanted me to meet her parents and her brothers, and I went along with it. Early on, I have to say, one of my concerns was the relationship was moving too fast before we got married. And I remember it distinctly. I was getting on the freeway in Florida, and driving the car back from a date, thinking about this and that. I was thinking, wow, this is moving fast. Maybe it's moving too fast. And it was a hard decision to make. It was like, if it's moving too fast, maybe something's wrong. Maybe I should slow things down a little bit, because I before that point, I had this kind of mental rule up there that I was going to date somebody for 2 years before I was going to get married. Well, that didn't work out in one. We were dating, less than a year before we got married. That didn't work out one bit. But mentally, I was thinking, this is moving very fast. Do I let it move fast, or do I slow it down? Do I slow it down? At the end of the day, I let it. I let the relationship take its own speed. I didn't slow it down, even though at times I thought it was going too fast. I didn't slow it down or anything. I was like, okay, let's just see where this goes. Simple as that. And despite I thought it was moving very fast. I still proposed to her, and I still went ahead with the wedding. My view at that time was, okay, the pieces may not all be together now, but I'm sure after we were getting married, I had confidence that after we get married, all the pieces will definitely come together. A little backwards in some ways, but that's the way it is. Like, okay, I know it's moving fast now. I know my feelings are kind of in a spin right now. Basically, I know I have feelings for this person. I know I love this person, but also I think this thing is going way fast. But I went ahead with the wedding anyway. And it wasn't a bad decision. When you feel it in your soul, then it's right. Um, sorry. I'll share a story. When I proposed, there were these two birds in the park. And these two birds are sandhill cranes. The special thing about these birds is they only meet one partner. If that one partner dies, they go along the whole life single. And when they meet that one bird, they just know. And they spend the rest of their life with that one bird. I took that as a sign. These birds were in the park right when I was about to propose. I kind of knew what it meant and knew that, you know, sometimes it takes a long time to find your life partner. Sometimes it takes forever to find your life partner. Sometimes you have to travel to the other side of the world to find your life partner. But I knew that I had found her. September 7th, 2017 was when we cut. Let's try it again. September 7th, 2017 was when we got married. My feelings then was kind of, it was weird because we weren't, there were all these people with these big extravagant weddings and stuff, and we were just driving out to a judge's a registry office to get married, and it was nothing extravagant. My feelings were, well, this is it. I think I'm making the right decision. I still wasn't, the relationship had still moved very fast. I knew what I was feeling. I knew I loved her. I knew I wanted to spend my life with her. So despite it moving fast, I was still ready to make the tie the knot it was on that day. I wasn't that nervous. I was more nervous thinking about how the heck I was going to tell my parents that I just got married again. Yeah, I was more nervous about what my parents would think. And I actually remember my manager at the time, Carl. He was a funny guy. He was like, "Yeah, I got married. I got married a few weeks ago in Vegas." And my dad called me up and flamed me over it and shouted at me because I ran off to Vegas and got married. He's like 10 years older than me, and he's still having his parents shout at him because he got married. I'm like, and sure enough, I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm not going to Vegas or anything, but I'm basically doing the same thing, and it was pretty amusing to me that we went through a similar situation. But I knew it was right. I knew it was the right time to get married. And we had a hurricane bearing down us at the time. I think it's Hurricane Irma, which is another story I'll share in maybe future videos. This hurricane was bearing down us, so we basically just had to get married, or we'd have to delay the wedding by a few weeks because the stupid hurricane was coming in. So, okay, we're going to get married. So we got married, and then we went home and went to work. And I was married. There was no big extravagant party, no honeymoon, nothing like that. I think hopefully I've made up for it since then in many ways, but there was nothing, elaborate. We signed the paper in front of, I think it was 3 strangers basically at the office that did all the paperwork and everything, and they took our pictures. Still have that picture on my desk today. That moment it happened. And we went our separate ways. Then a hurricane came in, took out power, took out water. I can't remember what condition Titusville was in, but where I was living up on a hill in the middle of Florida. Yeah, Florida has hills actually. It's really strange. But up on this hill in the middle of Florida, we were absolutely pounded by this hurricane. So it was like a couple of days later, it was like September 9th, 10th, when there was hurricane hit. There was nothing, no power, no water, no internet, none of that stuff. So we kind of cut off for a few days. So that was, we had to get married on the 7th, or we had to wait probably a week and get married later. But it was a good decision. I'll never. We've had our hard times, but I'll never regret that decision. After that, we kept it secret for like a month. It was a secret marriage. She didn't tell her parents for a while. I didn't tell my parents. I was still processing it. Their son's, thousands of miles away and just got married. How do I break that to my parents? They haven't even met this person yet. Normal routines for a person who you meet. Your family meets and hangs out together. That they never had that opportunity. My parents were a long way away and couldn't travel to meet her and couldn't travel to be with me. So my brain was going through the process of how on earth do I tell these people that, hey, I just got married, mom and dad. So we kept it secret for about a month, and she didn't tell her parents. I didn't tell mine for about a month, and then we stayed in a long distance relationship. That's how it started. We were in a long distance relationship. Only, I don't know, it's 20, 30 miles or something, but still couldn't be together every night. So we stayed in this long distance relationship for a while, and then like a month later we moved in together and started our lives together. And that's it. Yeah. It's a jumbled up love story. I have to say, my take on how the marriage started is put all the components into like a like a washing machine, mix it all up, and that is how our relationship started. All these pieces are flying around, all these kind of, it's moving very fast. Some things are backwards, like we get married before we move in together, when you probably should move in together and then get married. We told our parents after we got married. Everything is just, in the early stages of the relationship, is weird and backwards. It's kind of like an explosion. It's kind of like the Big Bang or something. Everything's just messed up and weird. But that is how it started. It didn't start like this. It didn't start all perfect and hunky-dory and wonderful. No, there were problems, and a lot of things were backwards. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I would not change a single thing, because this is my love story. Your love story is going to be completely different. You'll meet somebody, if you haven't met already, you'll meet somebody in a completely different way. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll post some more videos. Take care.